Once you receive the package, first check the leather pieces for your bag. There are 2 main leather pieces. These 2 pieces are completely identical. This is the long shoulder strap. Notice the shape here. The shape on this side is exactly the same. The only difference between them is in this section. One is longer and one is shorter. Here's the magnetic clasp for the bag. One pair of leather pieces for the clasp. And there's a sewing kit. Inside you'll find a spool of thread, a small pair of scissors, a Phillips head screwdriver. This screwdriver is for tightening the hardware. We'll be using this hardware later. Inside here are a thimble and needles, and some finger guards. The finger guards and thimble. You can use these or skip them. It's totally up to your preference. They're optional and won't affect your stitching. You'll need to prepare a lighter before sewing. First, take out the 2 main leather pieces. At the very bottom, there's a diamond-shaped hole right here. Same on this side. Before sewing, check which side is the front and back. The holes that look rounder and cleaner are on the front side. The holes on the back look like this, slightly blurry and a bit smaller. When you compare them, the difference is pretty obvious. Here's how we set it up. Use the front side of one leather piece to overlap the front side of the other piece. This is the back, and this is also the back. We'll start by sewing the diamond-shaped section. Open the waxed thread. For the thread length, cut about 4 times the perimeter plus a little extra. This is the perimeter. Then cut about 4 times that length plus a bit more. When threading, first pass the thread through the needle eye, just like you normally would. Then pierce the middle of the thread with the needle tip. Pull both threads tight. Now it's secured in place. Thread the other end of the thread through another needle the same way. Once both needles are threaded, let's start sewing. For your first stitch, start with the hole in this position. That's a corner of the diamond. Insert the first needle at this corner of the diamond through this hole. Insert the second needle into the adjacent hole. Now take the needle from the first hole and pass it through the second hole. Then go through the third hole from the other side. Here, the second needle goes through the third hole. Continue sewing in this pattern all the way down. Keep following this sequence until you've sewn all the way around. Once you've completed the full circle, backstitch 2 stitches to secure the end. Use the small scissors to trim the excess thread. Don't cut too short. Leave about 2 to 3 millimeters. Then use a lighter to gently singe the thread ends. This section is now complete. Now that the bottom is done, let's sew the sides. Grab one of the side strap pieces. Either the long or short one works fine. Position the side piece on top of the main piece and sew like this. Both leather pieces should have the front side facing up. This is the front and this is also the front. Layer them and sew together, like this. Sew down all the way to here. This pointed tip lines up exactly with the diamond corner we just sewed. Then continue along here. The other side also has the side piece overlapping the main piece and is sewn the same way. For the thread length, measure the section to be sewn and cut 4 times that length. The sewing technique here is exactly the same as before. Follow the holes and sew all the way around. Now the front section is completely done. Next, we'll sew past the gap fold. Everything before the gap on the main piece is done. On the side piece here, there's still one hole at the corner. This hole is at the corner, connects to the hole after the gap. Here's how it works. The hole after the gap and this corner hole get sewn together. Then this section of holes connects to this section of holes. Sew them together like this. Then this hole, the hole at this pointed tip, corresponds to this hole. The diamond corner hole we sewed at the very beginning. After that, it's exactly the same as we did on the front. Once all holes are sewn, backstitch 2 stitches to finish. This side is now done. Now use the same method to attach the strap to the corresponding position on the opposite side. The key points to watch are the same as before. At the very bottom here, you'll be sewing through 3 layers of leather. The rest of the holes are just 2 layers. And also, pay attention here. Don't sew this part wrong. Everything else is exactly like before. Once both sides are done, it looks like this. Now take out the two magnetic clasp leather pieces. We'll attach both clasp pieces. When sewing the clasp pieces, this part is a straight line, and below is this curved shape like a U shape. We'll sew the bottom part first. This section is for this leather piece, sewn on its own. Then the short straight line at the top gets sewn to these holes on the bag. Here, this is what it looks like with the clasp sewn on. One side has a rivet, the other side is the magnetic clasp. Both clasp pieces are the same. At this position, don't reverse them. If reversed, the magnets won't align properly. Make sure the orientation is correct. This corresponds to this short, straight section. We'll start by sewing the U-shaped bottom section. For thread length, cut about 80 centimeters. For the first stitch, start at this corner where the straight line begins. Insert the first stitch here. Then sew downward once the U-shaped bottom is complete. The straight line section connects to the main piece. After sewing to this hole, connect it to the main piece. Now we've reached this position. Take the bag and attach this to it. Now to sew this short section, first, take the needle on the main piece side and pass it through the main piece. Once both sides are sewn, backstitch 2 stitches to finish. This piece is now complete. Now attach the other piece using the same method to the other main leather piece. Sew it here. Make sure the magnetic clasp orientation is correct right here. With both sides done, it looks like this. The clasps should snap together like this. Now take out the remaining hardware. If it's in the closed division, just pry it open like this. Once open, you can see this piece has 2 small screws. Use the Phillips screwdriver to unscrew them. Now find the shorter end of the strap. There's a notch here. From here, where we just unscrewed the screws. Slide it in like this. This thicker piece can be inserted. It won't fit through. Only this part has the slot for it. Slide it in. Then screw it back in with the small screws. When tightening the screws, hold the strap in place with your other hand. Otherwise, it might slip out. Once screwed in, the bag is complete. This side has multiple holes. You can adjust the length based on your height and preference. At first, it might be a little tricky to adjust, but this part here has a slight bump on the top. That's to keep the strap from slipping out. Just like that. And your bag is now finished.